Thank you for staying with us. Now, balancing regional representation in Nigeria is crucial for promoting national unity, equity, and inclusive development. Given the country's diverse cultural, linguistic, and socio-economic landscape, ensuring fair representation across regions can be challenging but essential. Balanced regional representation helps to reduce feelings of marginalization and foster a sense of belonging among different regions, thereby promoting national unity and cohesion. To achieve a balanced regional representation, several strategies can be employed, one of which is the federal character principle, which aims to ensure that appointments and opportunities reflect the diversity of Nigeria's regions and ethnic groups. But joining us for this conversation is TV host and columnist Sam Omashaye, who is in our Lagos studio here. We also have with us a public affairs analyst, Terence Kwanum, in our Abuja studio, as well as the Federal Commissioner representing Lagos State Federal Character Commission, Abdulwasiu Kayode Bawa Allah. Good morning. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen.
Morning, thanks for having me.
All right, Honorable Bawa Allah, let me begin with you. Talking about the Federal Character Commission that was set up earlier, I think 1996, to address this matter of the imbalance in appointments, ensuring the federal character principle is upheld. Would you say that the Commission has so far been able to exercise its powers, though subject to the President's approval, but it's been able to ensure that there is that equitable balance that we are looking at in terms of appointments in the system?
Good morning, Nigerians, and thanks for having me. We can say that federal character principle adherence is a work in progress. The absence of federal character principle is better imagined. As you have seen in the recent times, it's been a topical issue both at the National Assembly and among Nigerians. The Federal Constitution 1999 as amended wants Nigerians to have a sense of belonging, and that's why Federal Character Act itself was derived from Section 14, subsection 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. As you said earlier, it was born out of a decision by the head of state then in 1996, and Federal Character was from that point established.
Okay. Yes, we have had reasons to hear Nigerians complain about this region not being represented, appointments being lopsided, and things like that. I think my question should go to Super Sam. Yeah. Where does true federalism lie when it comes to things like this? Do you think it would be easier if we were running a truly federal state in Nigeria, where the center is not as powerful as it is right now and the regions are stronger? Do you think people will bother so much about who gets what appointment at the federal level?
Yes, I think that we tend to put the wrong values in the wrong places and think that they are the right values. Because I've followed the whole debate about balancing. It all started recently after the appointment of Ojulari as the NNPC MD and as the Group Managing Director, GMD. So and some people say, oh, this is Southwest again, and then they discover that it's actually not from Southwest, that it's actually from North and not Central. But they say it's a Yoruba man and all of that, and the argument has been back and forth, and they're saying, okay, the president has been done lopsided appointment, and I think Bawa Allah will tell us how the balancing is. That even as we speak today, the majority of the appointments are still in the north, comparable to south. And what we have seen is that there have been a tick up of southwest appointments, and then they say, okay, it is the urbanization, and there are all kinds of things that they have been saying about this. And then you discover that, well, it is true that the Yorubas have now gotten a lot more appointments under Asiwaju Bola Tinubu than they had in the past. And then the question is, why? The other issue is they say, okay, you have the premium points, CBN, Chief of Army Staff, and all of that. There's a lot of hypocrisy about all of this going on. And I need to tear through all of these hypocrisies. Now, one, the argument that people are making about North and South does not hold water, because we know that we still have more appointments in the North than in the South. So we have to make that one clear. On the issue of premium, who premium, and they use the word juicy appointment. Who's juicy? Juicy for whom? Is it juicy for the man in the market? When you put a Yoruba man as CBN governor, does it mean that the person, the Yoruba lady in the market, is going to enjoy it, or is it not for him alone? What is important is for us to think about values. Now they're saying that, oh, the Yorubas have premier appointments, CG customs. So I ask, when was the last time a Yoruba man was Chief of Army Staff? I was still in school during the time of Alani Akinriade. When was the last time a Yoruba man was CBN governor? When was the last time a Yoruba man was head of NNPC? When was the last time a Yoruba man was Chief of Army Staff, as I said earlier, and a slew of others? You see, we have to get these facts very, very correct. That when we talk of federal character, it's not only about a snapshot in time. We have to look at justice over time.
Right.
That the Yorubas are trying to catch up where they have been thrown behind before. And we saw that, and some people are making this noise about South, and Southeast. And I admit that South, and Southeast, they have the lowest representation. But they didn't say the same thing when Jonathan was there. When Jonathan was there, that was the first time we had Chief of Army Staff from the East Sinsinro Sea. And when Jerika got there, what he did when he was recruiting, about 60% of the recruitment came from the Southeast. Right. As chairman of the Nigeria Board of the Nation, I supported him. I said, well, he was trying to make up for lost time. That is because, is that not the reason we have rotational presidency? Because when you have presidents across, then you have a time to really take care of the injustices that may have come from region to region. I was at Nimasa the other time when they were doing the recovery, what do you call it, awards for people who have served for a long time. They had discovered that at a certain period, the people who were there were from the north. At a certain period, they were there from the southwest. At a certain period, the people were given from south. So I asked the Kuku Peter side, why this lopsided? He said it's a reflection of who was DG at that time. So that's been the problem.
Most of our time, let's go to Abuja and talk to Terence Kwanam. If you look at it, there have been a lot of reaction, especially even from the Senate. We have this senator from Alim Dume, accusing the presidency, the current administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu of having lopsided appointments and all of that. Should we look at, because if you look at the demography of this country, more than 500 ethnic groups, maybe about 251 of them, formally recognized and all of that. Should we look at merit over federal character, or just say, because this person comes from here, we just must give the person regardless of the value the person is bringing to the table?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And thank you, the Commissioner and Uncle Sam, for their contributions. I just want to add the perspective to what Uncle Sam has said, because if we look at the context of what is happening in this country, it is mostly the people that benefit mostly from appointments in this country that cry for federal character when they lose certain positions. And it is also quite unfortunate that you mentioned Senator Alion Dume someone who came on national TV to claim he came from a very minute tribe from the northeast Waha, but was able to be a senator for 12, 16 years, but is criticizing an appointment from a minority from the North Central that has been made GMD of NNPC. And so when you begin to bring those contexts together, you begin to know that people are using sentiments over merit of what should happen. This is the first time we are having the GMD of NNPC from the North. We are having the chairman of NNPC board from the North. Also of the president, we have the secretary to government of the federation from the North. Just like Uncle Sam was saying, if we go to customs, since 1990, this is the first time a Yoruba person has been CG of customs. If we go to immigration since 1983, there has been no Yoruba person as CG of immigration. If we come to the Nigerian police force, since Louis Zidet was made Inspector General of Police, apart from Muslim Smith and Tafa Balogo, this is the first time Yoruba has been imaged. So most of these federal character they discuss, you begin to feel that people are beginning to shortchange others using the name of federal character. Because the same person that is complaining about GMD from the Northeast have 6 or 7 GMDs of NNPC. The Southwest has produced just 2. The Northwest has produced 3 GMDs of NNPC. This is the 3rd. And the first 2, one came from Southern Kaduna, the other came from the other part of North Central. This is the first time a minority from the North Central is coming as GMD. So the context they are discussing this federal character, I feel is quite unpatriotic because they want to distract Nigerians from benefiting from the reforms that are being brought by Mr. President. These are just simple distractions because we are from the North and we have enough appointments from the North. This is the first time a president is serving with a secretary to government of the federation from the North. You can look at the history. You can look at ever the chief of defense staff is coming from the northern part of the country, and so many appointments that we have. And the other part of the South that are coming, you look at other, even if they are talking about juicy appointments, you look at much big appointments like the border development agencies, and so much of them has been spread across this country. And I feel this is a distraction to Mr. President, and we call on these people to be more patriotic because the reforms we are seeing in this country at the moment, most of them have not been seen in the last 50 years. And I think we should be patriotic enough to embrace them and look at the loopholes that are coming with this reform for us to be able to strengthen them so that we achieve the glory that is being brought to this country at the moment. It's quite unfortunate that very senior citizens of this country lead the charge to distract us from the good things that happen to us. But I want Nigerians to know that what they are doing is just a distraction. We have benefited so much, and the federal character principle has been adhered by this president. And everybody is aware of it.
Terrence,
and in most cases, the sentiment they brought cannot be able to sell because they don't hold water.
All right, let me quickly move over now to Honorable Bawa Allah to perhaps give us some perspective in terms of figures now. A lot of persons would like to understand the balance and what it is like. You are a custodian of these figures. We need to understand what it is looking like in percentage terms, of whichever way you can put it, so that Nigerians can better understand what this current administration is doing to addressing this matter of federal character and its effort to achieve balance.
Thank you very much. The numbers don't lie. And the numbers show that the appointments made by this president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, has been very well balanced. As a matter of fact, the North has more than the South. The percentages show 55% of the appointments, generally 657 or so of them, to be more skewed to the North, 55%. The North Central leads with 21%. Northwest, 20%. Only Northeast at 14% as it stands right now. I also want to clarify that, as the analyst said, federal character analysis is not by snapshot. It is over time and over a period and area. Individuals who have benefited, who should actually support and ginger on this administration to do more for Nigerians as he has done, surprisingly are the ones that are trying to flare and put Nigerians against one another. There's no need for that. What the president has done is to look at how will Nigerians be united. And by the unity in terms of my appointments, my policies, and development of Nigeria. Now, as the analyst said earlier, the biggest economy for Nigeria is the oil and gas. NNPC is the biggest economy. CBN can't spend any money unless NNPC brings the money. Today, the chairman of the board of NNPCL is from Borno State, the state where Senator Ndume hails from. The group managing director is from North Central, a minority area in North Central. And so there is no need for this distraction. Now, the previous administration had just 16% to Southwest back then. 19% is what North Central had. 18% to Northeast. And Northwest had 22% in terms of the spread under President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. So this administration has now taken it as a gauntlet to make sure that we move towards balancing the appointments. And it should be encouraged that some of the areas that is some of the other regions that needs to be considered should be considered as we move forward. I don't know what the motive or the agenda of Senator Ndume Ali is. I said in previous engagement that the Federal Character Commission itself, the agency that should be balanced between North and South, has, as we speak today, the chairman is from North Central and the secretary is from Northeast. He hadn't said anything about that. Since inception, 1995, this same federal character has never had somebody from the South to represent. INEC, since inception, has never had anybody from Southwest. If tomorrow now somebody is nominated or announced from Southwest, there will be noise and cry. These are not issues that we should use to inflame ourselves. We should look at it and advise the administration and encourage that what you are doing is best. Continue to look at the numbers and help us to have a sense of belonging and loyalty to ourselves. As we do for this appointment, Federal Character Commission also has a responsibility to make sure that those in the civil service that are directing the affairs of those ministries are also balanced. Someone also spoke of NIMASA. It will shock you that NIMASA and NPA and FAN that are located in Lagos, they are supposed to even have 75%, is largely dominated by others who are not from Lagos, who are not from Southwest. So, but we cannot use these issues to inflame,
unfortunately,
ourselves.
Our time is up, but definitely we'll continue this conversation sometime soon because there's a lot that we need to unpack from this matter of federal character principle. We must thank you, Terence Kwanum, Public Affairs Analyst, Abdul Wasiu Kaide Bawa Allah, Federal Commissioner representing Lagos State Federal Character Commission. Thank you as well. Thank you very much. But Sam, you're still with us.
Yes. Yes, You answered one part of my question earlier on.
Yeah.
The second part is what I would like you to answer this time.
Yes.
If we were running a true federal state where the federating units are strong and independent, even more than the center, do you think all this quarrel about federal character would be necessary?
It will not be there. That's why it's a problem of federalism. But so long as there's cake in the center, there will always be fight over it, whether it is small or big. Because it is, exactly. So even if we say that right now the ratio is probably like 55 to 45 or something like that between center and we'll flip it. 45 is still a big cake, you know. So the trouble will still be there. But the question is not about who owns what. The question is about what is the vision for the rest of the country. Look at during the time of Jonathan. I said it in my column. I insist to be corrected. The infrastructure work done under Buhari through Fashola in the southeast is the best since independence. And even the second Niger bridge, was just on paper. They had not even risen up from the ground when Jonathan left there. Fashola under Buhari finished it. And people didn't seem to appreciate it because they don't like the man who gave it to you, who gave it to them. But the man who they liked didn't do that. He gave their people positions everywhere. During the time of Ayim as secretary, I know of somebody from South, a very prominent Nigerian, I'll mention his name, who was head of an agency, who said he's an Yoruba man, who said he was being removed because they won't allow him to take second term because the secretary to the government was going to replace him with his kinsman. That's what he told me. So those problems were there, and they were saying that they were calling him Azikiwe that time. Nobody was complaining. Nkoje Wela on national media, he said that only people from the southeast were beating everybody for jobs in national positions and so on. And I said that is not how to discuss it. If you say they are the only ones who passing. Who recruited the test? Who set them? Yeah. Who asked the people who were coming? Have you gone into all of that analysis?
Yeah, that's right. So if you look
so sometimes that's why sometimes we are all humans, and what they call the fidelity to the tribe and so on. It happens. That's why we have rotational presidents. So a president can come and correct it over time. Yes.
But if you look at the way the country is expanding, the population is exploding, and we are having different diverse groups that are even coming bigger. Thank God we don't have LGBTQ who might be asking for their own position.
Yes.
So do you think there is need for that federal character to actually evolve so that it can accommodate every single person?
Federal character is fighting with the Nigerian character. That is the issue. The Nigerian character, which is that when I'm there, I have my own. And if I am there, I want to do as if I like everybody. They'll be look at this mumu. When I come, I put my own. When Buhari came there, the people who are shouting from the north didn't see anything when he was loading his kinsmen all over the place. When Jonathan was there, they didn't do this. They didn't do the same thing. The only person who didn't do that very well was Obasanjo, and the people in the southwest were saying, "What's wrong with Obasanjo?" So you can see why I say that the southwest has changed itself for a long time. Because when Obasanjo left and Yar'Adua came, he put his people there, was not there for too long. Then Jonathan came, and suddenly they knew that his middle name was Azikiwe. So we should stop the hypocrisy. Let us do job. Look at Calabar. Look at the Lagos-Calabar road. Look at the road that has been launched between Kaduna and Kano. Look at Nelfond that we are talking about. Look at investment investment opportunities, loans for those who want to do business. Look at all those things that are going on. How will it benefit the ordinary people? That is what we should be focusing on. This issue of who gets what and who does not get it is an elite issue. It's an elite distraction. It has nothing to do with the Fulani farmer. It has nothing to do with the Yoruba market woman. It has nothing to do with the person who is now farming my grandmother's farm in the Niger Delta.
You still hear some of them shouting about these issues because the elitists have wielded that influence over these people. They are their supporters. Yeah. They are the ones that are, you know, championing this cause. They are pushed to champion this cause.
Yes.
And, you know, they make the noise.
Yes, they make the noise because they were eating, they were benefiting from it. When they were benefiting from it, it was good. But when they are not benefiting from it, then they tell their people, oh, they are cheating you. And when they are benefiting from it, they were not doing anything to the people.
The benefit is relative now, but there's a critical issue that I think that we are also not addressing. And I think that's the matter of trust. Because even after the Civil War, that noise about federal character has been skimmed over time, this lopsidedness. And there are those who feel that perhaps we haven't actually addressed that issue in terms of what happened at the time to really heal, for people to move on, because that conversation keeps happening over and over.
I agree with you. That's why I said federal character has a problem with the Nigerian character. That is the issue. I said it the other time, that when Iheri Jirika became Chief of Army Staff, it was hailed that this was the first time since Nronsi that an Igbo man who head the Nigerian Army. And when he did that, he started recruiting. He recruited about 60%, and about 60% were of the 100% were from the south. And so people were making. I said, look, this guy is trying to catch up. He's trying to catch up. But the interesting thing is that even of the 60% from the south, most of them came from Abia State. Where it comes from. So
it's also a problem.
It became a problem in the southeast.
So, unfortunate that these issues are still very much with us.
Yes.
It's really unfortunate, but we have to leave
but the point is that we have to get to a point where we can have a situation where we can balance. But nobody will say, okay, let's balance now. People will say, you want to balance now after you've cheated me over the past year. Let me catch up. Let me catch up first. Okay. When I catch up, then we can.
Sam Amashaye, TV host, columnist, thank you so much for your time on the program. It's always an interesting time with you. All right, we take a break now. When we return, we'll be moving over to our Abuja studios. Stay with us.